Welcome to another episode of Autoimmune Alchemy. I'm your host, Dr. Micah Yu, and I have a very special guest today. I have Dr. Nisha Manek. She's an innovative rheumatologist and a good friend of mine. And not only that, she's also an author of the book, Bridging Science and with Spirit. So I am so glad to have Dr. Manek today on today's podcast. And today we're going to be talking about where medicine is going from an integrative rheumatologist perspective. So Dr. Manek, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Micah, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Always. Thank you for having me. And I love the podcast title, Autoimmune Alchemy. Beautiful. So I'm happy to be a guest on this podcast. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you're the perfect guest for this Autoimmune Alchemy podcast because you do autoimmune disease and you are doing alchemy with medicine because you do integrative medicine, you do traditional medicine as well. So you do a combination of different things in your practice. So we've been friends for a while and we talk outside of medicine and we have different perspectives and we have a quite different perspective compared to our traditional colleagues. So you have a lot of training in the traditional space in rheumatology, but you also have a lot of experience in complementary medicine as well. So where do you see medicine going, not just in rheumatology, but medicine in general? And where do you see where are the gaps?
Well, Micah, thank you. I've had a very conventional scientific background. So from University of Glasgow Medical School, this is Scotland. I'm a fellow of the Royal College of Physicians. So you can say, this is very standard education, very robust in the traditional sciences, anatomy, physiology, and all of that. And then I did a fellowship at Stanford University, again, very robust in the traditional sciences. And from there to the Mayo Clinic, where I was an educator, medical students, fellowship, and many of the fellows around the world, I've had a sort of a mentorship to them, and they've set up careers in rheumatology. So I know, what does education mean? How do you transmit the wonderfulness of what the human body's immune system can do and how it goes haywire? So education. And then there was research. You want to do research about what's the new things and new thinking in science. And third is patient care and patient excellence. So you're right. I had a very conventional education in medicine, and I'm a fellow of the American College of Physicians, so very traditional. And it was many years ago where I felt that we're doing all of this excellence in medicine. Are we really making a difference to our patients? And the common perception in patients is that science is going to solve the disease problem. Let me just pause here. Science is going to solve, medical science is going to solve the disease problem. And I think we can all agree that isn't quite happening. We're seeing increase in childhood diseases. We're seeing an increase in cardiovascular diseases. We're seeing an increase in autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases is what? A lot of people may say, what's that? Cardiac disease, cancer, childhood, people get it. People get it. Autoimmune diseases is where your immune system, the immune system is so key to health, okay? It's the one thing that regulates so many systems. And when your B cells and your T cells and that immune army goes a bit haywire, you're going to get immune problems, which is inflammation. How does that show up? Arthritis, skin rashes, eye problems, swollen eye, red eye, right? So we know that the immune system is so complicated and the immune diseases are on the rise. What perturbs the immune system? How is that happening? We haven't solved the problem. We have some clues, infections, environmental toxins. I think you've talked to another colleague about that. So we know those things play a role into immune dysregulation, but there is also the issue about inflammation. Inflammation reaches everywhere, head to foot. Okay, you're getting swollen joints, skin rashes, eye problems, and it's on the rise. So we don't know the many factors. Maybe genes play a role, family history, we ask about that. But let's be honest, genes aren't the whole story. So you and I deal with autoimmune diseases which wreak havoc in so many systems of the body. And so many years ago, I said to myself, is drugs the only way? And I was prescribing more and more drugs. And really, we were in research. I was one of the members on the research committee, and you look for new drugs, new molecules coming down the pike. And we were one of the centers, also at Stanford, to investigate. Is this drug good for rheumatoid? Is this drug good for gout? And so on. And over the last, I would say, a decade and a half, we had more and more new molecules come. But we haven't solved the problem of disease elimination. We don't use the word cure. We really do. And the other thing is, whenever I see a patient, they'll say, Dr. Manek, aren't you going to give me a drug? So there's a common preconception that when you see on TV, tell your doctor about drug X, and then in a very fast cadence, but tell your doctor your fever, rashes, eye problems, hair problems, if you fall over. I mean, so there is this perception that drugs are one, they're going to be solving your problem, or whatever it is, from fatigue to a swollen joint to whatever is ailing you is going to be a drug for it. And so I think we can agree that this isn't only drug-based. What is the other parts of the human mechanism? And that's where I started to ask those questions all those years ago. The human organism is like a grand mechanism. It's more than just one little piano in the corner. Drugs, we're going to use this key or this key. And that was where I was saying, okay, what are the missing mechanisms that we never pay attention to? And I will say this, nature is far more brilliant than the human mind. We think we can look at a petri dish, A plus B equals C, and make that a drug and call it a blockbuster drug. It takes us only a little part of the way. But the big part of nature is energy. And in fact, it regulates everything we're doing, Micah, right? We rise in the morning, we greet the sun, the free energy source on earth, and then we retire at night. We go to bed saying good night. We say goodbye to the sun, and we know there's a cycle. We expect the energy will come back the following day. We have such trust in it. How about the energy of the body? What is that? And I'm not talking about the nervous system necessarily. We use the word biofield in medicine, but we're not taught about it. And that was where in my consciousness, in my mind was this word energy banging around, thinking, how do we get to that nugget? How do we access? What does the biofield even mean? Okay. And that's where I stepped away a little bit from conventional care. I never left it though. I did step away to say, okay, we do drug 1, we try it, it doesn't work, give side effects. Drug B, we take one off the shelf, put it back on the shelf, take a trial and error in medicine. We're doing a lot of that in immune diseases. But what takes us to the target? And target of what? Remission. We can't call it cure, but we do call it remission, right, in autoimmune diseases. And remission means as little pain as you can, no swollen joints, your skin is clear, your eyes are clear, you are joyful and full of energy in life. That's target. So I asked myself, what can take us over the top into remission? And that's where the missing pieces, it is energy, and it is already installed in you. I talked about the sun, but there is a source of energy in the human body we call the biofield. There's a source there, okay? And medicine doesn't talk about it, but physics does. Physics comes closer to understanding energy. It's invisible. You cannot taste it. It doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a texture. You cannot dissect it. You cannot put it under the microscope and say, oh, there's energy in the biofield. We cannot do those things. Whereas medicine, we always do blood tests. There's no blood test for energy.
Mhm.
And yet, Micah, your body and my body and our patient's body is like a battery pack. And what do we do all day with the battery pack with our devices? We're checking the power bars. And yet, we never do this with our patients. We have a missing vital sign. What's your pain? What's your blood pressure? What's your temperature? How much do you weigh? What about your energy bars? Body. So I'm laughing because it's really true.
So would you say the biofield is more of the spirit and the soul? Or is that
No, when I refer to the biofield, I'm referring to the meridian system. That's a great concept because the biofield, I'm referring to the field that is emerging away from a solid material, the body here. And it has influence away from the body. You and I can feel each other when you enter the door. You don't even have to shake my hand. I feel you from the energy field around you. That has been established by science. So, what is that field? And where is it emerging from? Okay. So, it's, by the way, it's magnetic in nature, it's not electric. So people get this mixed up. We think we're all electric, but I think it's more accurate to say we're magnetic, and magnetism and electricity go together. Okay, so there.
Yeah, and when you mentioned meridian, I know in Chinese medicine they talk about meridians with acupuncture. Is that the same concept with the qi and maybe the chakras? That's energy as well. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's a good question because when I was interested in the word energy, I hit the textbooks. And then I started to see all different terms: chi, ki in Japanese, prana in Ayurveda, acupuncture, meridians, vital force, biofield. So you have all these different terms. How can you do science with all these different terms? It's enough to pull your hair out. It's physics that puts an umbrella term for all of these, and they're
Mhm.
called subtle. Subtle is not weak. Subtle means it's very hard to see. It's very hard to detect. And why is it hard? It's very fast. It's faster than the speed of light. We don't have instruments that can catch it. And like I said, it's invisible in the body. You can't see it. You cannot taste it. You can't dissect the body and say, oh, there's the channel,
Mhm.
the energy channel. We see nerves and blood vessels and all of that. There is a few clues about the channels, though. There's more recent work out of Harvard that is showing that the channels run where? It is something I dumped in the anatomy lab. I dumped it out.
Oh,
Connective tissue, the fascia.
Fascia.
They are the connections of all the organs of the body. And so if you do very sophisticated anatomy and histopathology, it turns out this tissue, which we thought was, well, we tossed it,
Yeah,
not that interesting.
I remember in
It's
medical.
where you were, yeah, so did I. In anatomy, we would tease that away to look at the muscles and the tendons, and we put that fascia in the bucket. But that's the fascia is where the magic is going on. It is the connector of the body's energy systems. Your eye can connect to the toe. Don't think you're separate. There's beautiful highways of the fascia connecting all parts of your body. And that's why when you do acupuncture and acupressure on a certain point, it will connect to other parts of your body. Okay, it's worthwhile to know that the conventional anatomy that I learned in Glasgow is not the end of the story. There is much more beauty here. So, subtle energy, the umbrella term that physics gave me, began to sort it out in my head. I wasn't chasing chi or prana, all separate terms. You can't do that. You want physics. Physics knows energy much more than medicine does. Okay.
Mm.
From there, I could take a leap into, okay, what does the equation say? And I'll tell you this, the laws of energy are the most important laws in all of nature. They're immutable. They don't change. What we're saying right now doesn't expire tomorrow like a drug patent. And you cannot patent the sun. You cannot patent the subtle energies, right? We're laughing, but it's true. And yet they are so important for the body's autoimmune regulation, for the heart regulation, for your brain to talk, for me to even be here. I am here and talking to you because of my subtle energies pump. My batteries are fully charged. Okay. I take care of that. And really at the bedside, I do ask my patients, what is your battery level today? Are you running on empty? Are you half full? Or are you fully charged? All your bars are there. Just like we look at a phone device, right? It's plugged up, but we can't plug ourselves into the walls. Okay. So there are various ways to pump up your subtle energies.
Yeah, I
And what are
agree.
those? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you've talked about because you mentioned in the very beginning how medicine, we're not curing really. We're trying to maintain, and sometimes people do get better, but that's not the end all be all. And this energy medicine you're talking about, that's something that has been dismissed by conventional medicine, unfortunately. And it's such a key component to the healing process. I mean, when I was
Yes.
growing up, my uncle is a acupuncturist and Eastern medicine doctor, and I see him heal. I seen help my family members, and you can't really put that into a double-blind randomized control trial.
Yeah.
These things are very hard to prove, but it's real, and it's a key component to the healing process that's not talked about in the medical office at all.
So you bring up such an important point, Micah, that conventional traditional medicine's platform is studying active treatment versus placebo. The randomized controlled trial is considered gold standard. But what we are saying here is you cannot isolate a biofield and start to look at it like that. You cannot separate energy from the body's material aspects. Your subtle energies are the reason you're digesting, that your brain is firing. It's not just biochemical pathways. What is animating those molecules to even do intelligent interactions? Trillions of reactions going on right now. Subtle energy is surgical precision. You cannot overdose in it. You cannot underdose on it. So your uncle knows with surgical precision what needs to be done, which point, for how long, what needle, right? That's an intuition. That's his superpower. I'll tell you this. Everyone looking at this program right now has your superpower. Just being aware of this word subtle energy, start looking at it. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to your power in your body. Are you rising to greet the sun with pep? Or are you already going, oh my God, I have another day in front of me? How can you pump up your energies? How can you do that? There's many ways. But of course, Qigong and Tai Chi, and in my book, Bridging Science and Spirit, you don't even have to learn any of those techniques. You can. I think there's great value and great beauty to do that. But I give a very simple procedure in my book around connecting with your hands. Your hands are healing instruments. Your hands are healing instruments. If you connect your hands in specific ways, just like your uncle is doing, a needle in this specific point, the left hand behind your neck, right hand at the sacrum, left ankle, over your right, you're connected. There's a circuit. Okay, I call it the circuit, the subtle energy circuit. When people do this, they go, oh my gosh, I do feel something. And they feel rejuvenated without caffeine, without TikTok videos. And guess what? It's free. No prescriptions. Already installed. No copay. You don't have to wait for the doctor to call you to give you permission. You can do this right now.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of medicine. So where do I see all of this integrative care going? I think we're reaching a very critical point in medicine where we're realizing chemical medicine is not enough for your healing. You need to know about especially subtle energy. Again, we're referring to the qi and the meridian system that is a reality in your body. Your doctor may not know about it, but you do. By looking at this autoimmune alchemy, now you know. Go figure it out. Research it. Get a copy of Bridging Science and Spirit. I go into the science that this is very real. In a sense, I wrote this book to communicate the truth about physics research for medicine, for medical colleagues, so they can open up their perspectives to just beyond the body, that there's other aspects to human healing that we haven't tapped into that is free, no dosing. Right? I mean, and you can do this in the comfort of your home. I mean, I call it lie down and recharge or sit and recharge. Don't go to the lunch line and start eating crap, which is also causing inflammation. But anyway, I see subtle energies and this science becoming more wide known. That is my wish list, and I think it is happening because I go to conferences, I speak a lot, and I am very encouraged that this is really happening out there, okay? And people are reporting successes that will blow your mind. They get remission with rheumatoid, with their conventional, much faster, and they're able to reduce doses. This is happening. We can do these things. So let's encourage our patients to open up their playbook, the healing book, and look at, work with your doctor in rheumatology and start exploring subtle energies. Look at Tai Chi programs, look at Qigong programs, look at yoga, look at chair yoga. Don't get limited by your mindset. Again, and turn off the TV. Turn off those drug commercials. And I would say, again, that subtle energy circuit that I do it every day. And this is literally, absolutely charged up my batteries that you can write books, that you can show up for your clinic and keep working. You can just recharge. You don't need anything fancy. But anyway, I'm sure you have questions. I talk a lot. I love it. So.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment that in order to get better, we don't always have to take a pill. That's what they teach you in medicine. Your doctor will tell you that. But really, it's the intangible that can really get you better. Like that subtle energy you just talked about. You can't really see it, but you can feel it.
Yes.
And
yes.
it surrounds all of us. It connects all of us. It's inside of us and it's also on the outside as well. So I see that in patients that get better, they have the energy as well. The chi is coming back, all that type of energy that you can't see, but you can definitely feel it when you interact with people.
You see, energy is nature's currency for repairing the body, for rejuvenating the body. And when you're doing subtle energy work, it goes right down into your bone marrow. Your bone marrow is part of it. Where does the immune system originate? You're getting new cells, the new immune system. And if you are really doing this and committed to it, you can renew yourself. I think we can say that. You're nodding your head. Because we are capable. The human system is very, very sophisticated beyond just chemical and biochemical means. And if we can open these perceptions in each other, in medical education, in our patients, I think we'll make a leap forward in medicine. Okay? And then, of course, we can talk about consciousness, which is where I was really, I started with energy. I wanted to learn about energy. But what happened really, Micah, was when you talk about energy, you bump into biofield and you bump into your mind. You bump into consciousness. And now we're really expanding our bandwidth. It's like, whoa, there's no limitations. And we have to really think from an unlimited perspective because we get really bogged down into a doctor's office, brick and mortar. I have to go there. I have to get a test. Do that, but do these other things. Do the energy work, okay? And you will be rewarded beyond your wildest dream.
Yeah, this is a fascinating conversation because this is not something that they teach you in medicine. And even in integrative medicine training, you don't get this far as well. You learn about herbs, supplements, the basics of energy medicine, but not this far. So what even got you intrigued to this point, Dr. Manek?
When I ran into the physics of subtle energies, it was really my instinct. And you might say that's my Nisha's superpower. I paid attention. I literally sat up in my chair like, wow, wait, there is science here. It's not in medical textbooks, but it's where you look. It's literature and science that I wasn't reading. But once I opened the door, I could walk confidently in, okay? So the instinct, and again, I'm saying this is the truth about nature. It doesn't expire. You can do this today, 3 weeks from today, 3 months from today. It will never expire. You could do it 3 years from today. Why wait? 3,000 years from today, it'll be true. It
Mm.
doesn't expire. And
And
so I said, okay, I'm on to this. I want to do this. I want to learn it.
yeah, and I think the art of learning about this energy has been lost over the past century or two because our ancient cultures, Eastern medicine, Ayurveda, they knew about this energy already, but we have lost it over time to conventional medicine.
Well, Micah, I think again, it's the traditional education that doesn't open the door for us. Okay. And so in our minds, and certainly in Nisha's mind, what did I do when I graduated from fellowship in rheumatology? I was very comfortable prescribing drugs until I realized, wait, is this the only answer? So I told you there was this vague notion. And when you have to pay attention to that, if somebody's watching this, they're searching for answers and they're getting clues. And when you hear the word subtle energies and chi and healing, grab onto it. It's like that. So in Western science, we put a lot of power into the industry, into factories, into lab coats and looking through the microscope. I told you we cannot see these things, but they're very real. You can feel them. And when you start to charge up your batteries and start to heal, okay, whatever it might be. And for me, the first demonstration all those years ago when I was in academic medicine was I went to see a qigong master. I called him. He said, yeah, sure, come. I'll talk to you because I was curious about this word chi. So I go to see him. When I arrived in his home in Minneapolis, I had the worst headache of my life. Okay? I had all these notes and my notebook. I wanted to ask him all these questions. And while I'm looking at my notebook, he's sitting across the table. I'm looking at my notebook, light as a feather. This, like a breeze, comes across my face. My headache was gone. Boom! I look up and I went, whoa. And I looked at him and he was looking at me just serenely, didn't touch me, didn't examine me. I asked him, you did something. He's Master Chuni Lin. He's a Qigong master in the Twin Cities. I said, you did something. And he didn't answer. I said, what did you do? It was very specific. He says, oh, you had a blockage in your neck and you have a whole jumble of energies above your head. I cleared that away for you. And I thought, oh my God, you saw something. You didn't touch any of my material head. You were very precise about your definition. You saw blockage and you cleared it out without touching my head. Now, what do we do in medicine, Micah, with a headache? Raging headache.
Tylenol, medication.
Well, when my patients have a headache, I want to know their blood pressure. I look in their eyes. Do you have a toothache? Are your sinuses okay? Do you have an earache? We start to ask questions. He didn't do any of that. He didn't give me 2 Tylenol and a glass of water. No chemicals, no drugs. And that's when I went with my first experience of chi like that, so precise and elegant. I realized this is something that is worthy of my time to look into, to study. Just like your uncle has given time, he's given his skill to look and ease the suffering of people through chi manipulation. And I'm saying to viewers of your program, you can do all of those subtle energy skills with Qigong and Tai Chi, or you can do just light out with this very simple configuration, which is what I do now. I used to learn Qigong and all that, and I realized, hey, a doctor's life, I just want to finish clinic and recharge. Finish clinic, or just do it even during break, recharge. So this demonstration of chi that Master Lin taught me, I realized here is a power of him as a healer, but also me as a recipient. We were together in this, and he never touched me 3 or 4 feet. We were sitting face to face. He didn't reach out and touch anything, but he saw something, and all of us have that capacity. And I'll tell you, the more you do the clearing of chi, and you're pumping your internal batteries with this subtle energy pump, I call it, your bandwidth expands. You become more sensitive. If you have an addiction to cookies and chocolate, you may find effortless, they start to drop away. You don't need that. You don't need chocolate to pump you up because you're pumped up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your batteries are full. So instead of reaching out for chocolate and chocolate chip cookies, you know what to do to recharge your internal batteries. And so your habits and things that we're saying, don't do this, don't smoke, don't drink, don't eat chocolate, don't eat sugar. That's really what I'm after. They drop away. They start to take on a lower priority. Instead, you understand your body. You have paid respect and understand that now your instincts are fired up, right?
Yeah, and
It always gets me very excited. I go,
yeah, and those cookies and sugars, they can give you that temporary energy, but eventually it'll zap your energy too. And
look,
like you said, you can build up your internal battery without eating those foods or that coffee. There's other ways to do it.
you will heal yourself. You will regulate your body, and it's free and it's precise. It's precise. I call it surgical precision. Your energy knows, it has an intelligence to know what your body needs, the correction it needs. You don't have to tell, okay, correct this or beat my heart faster or the lungs to take on. This is happening of its own.
Mhm.
It needs energy to do it.
Yeah, and this energy medicine is so fascinating, and there's so much more to learn about energy medicine that can really be used to heal us. And I hope that medicine one day will catch up and be able to view this as part of the
I
human.
think it is catching up, and it is the common person. When I say common, it's the general public who are asking questions and are looking for answers that are really the momentum here. New molecules are not the answer because that's what's coming down from the universities. I think the answer is that people are watching this and trying it out and telling their doctors, hey, I'm doing this. Because doctors are saying, you know, you're doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. And the patient is trying to say, I'm doing actually some qigong and tai chi. And right, you know, my patients do tell me that. They say, my doctor doesn't know this, but they weren't that interested. They were so fast and they're so consumed by the computer. You know, I barely have time to speak to them and they're off to the next appointment. So this is the problem in medicine. Our colleagues are running on a wheel and they get burned out. So I want to offer them this. Recharge your intellectual batteries.
Yeah. There's so many ways to heal without needing to buy a pill or taking a tablet or even a supplement. So this conversation is so fascinating, and I want to talk to you so much more in the future and bring you back again because you have so much to offer to our audience on ways to heal yourself naturally. And I know you're conventionally trained. You worked at Mayo. You have so much credentials, but you have this other knowledge, this wisdom that can help us all. So I really appreciate and I'm so grateful for you to talk to us today.
You. Thank you,
Oh.
Micah, as always, for this opportunity. And to everyone out there, you're an alchemist. Become the alchemist that you are. It's latent. You have the science backing. This is in the physics. You do not need permission from your physician to do the subtle energy work. It's freely available. You can even fire up the YouTube if you want some guidance just to try things out. Yeah, just do that.
And it can help, even if you're feeling healthy, it can help you. And if you're suffering.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It helps children in their classroom, in their football, soccer shot. I teach my nephews these things and they love it. They think it's the cutest thing. So they can have painting, piano, language. I think I've shown you my nephew's writing How I Learned About Robot, his first book. Oh, children are very creative. So when they're pumped up, and you know, children get tired. Why? Why are children exhausted? Children are playing all the time, but they are getting more exhausted. So we have to pay attention. What are they feeding? What are they drinking? What are they watching? How can we help our young children without drugs, without any chemicals? Teach them this. I tell you, they love it because they feel good. And they'll jump right off and go, Let's go to the playground once more.
Yeah. Our world is definitely getting sicker despite the advances in medicine. So we definitely have to talk about other ways of healing in the future and definitely get into your book more, Bridging Science and Spirit, because
Yeah,
there's so
thank
much
you,
to talk
Micah.
about there. So we'll do an episode just on that book in the future. So how can people find you, Dr. Manek? On the internet, how can they find you in your clinic?
Yeah, first of all, nishamanekmd.com. I write newsletters very frequently. And there is a course, 5 Keys to Living Well with Rheumatoid Arthritis, which really dives deeper into energy and also intention. I'm very, very, very enthusiastic about the potential of the human mind. And I think that's another whole area that we barely talk about at the bedside. How do you write an intention? What does that even mean? What matters to you? These are very, very big gaps in medical care. So there's a course, 5 Keys to Living Well with Rheumatoid Arthritis, that I will open up to people who are interested. This isn't for everyone. This isn't for everyone. Those are people who are saying, okay, I've done some homework. I want to go deeper into, and I want to get in charge. So nishamanekmd.com, you can see my newsletters. They're free. You'll see a page of my course. Of course, I talk about my book. So just say hello. Join the community and say hello. But you'll find me. Now, with clinic, I do health coaching because people from all over the world reach out to me. I have patients in India to Fiji, and, they find me through podcasts. So it depends. I do get in touch with them and make sure we're a good fit. Because sometimes people think I'll give them one super duper supplement. And I'm really about subtle energies and human mind. And I want to take them there because that's the slow coach way, but boy, you grow and you really are going to have an expanded awareness and freedom. We want to set people free from being tied to a system.
Mhm.
And for me, freedom is everything. Your freedom to this knowledge, this freedom to really experience it, and your freedom from any challenge out there. It's not just your health, which is central. This is where we come in. We're saying health is everything. Health is your bank balance. Health is your relationships. Health is your daily life. Okay. But health will power you to other things, many other endeavors. We're humans. We're very creative. And I want to show you that you have everything to succeed in life. Yeah.
Thank you for that message, Dr. Manek. Well, thank you for being on today's show. And we're going to have the show notes in there where you can find Dr. Manek's website and information. So thank you so much for talking to us today.
Oh, Micah, pleasure again. Thank you.
Thank you.